not endorsed by this cat.
Oh my gosh.
But this stuff right here, we have
Hi,
two
my
cats.
girl.
One is this weirdo you've seen both of them. The small one, she's young, but the older one is like 19 and he weighs 500 pounds. And he was just not moving around at all. He was just, you could tell he was hurting. And then we were like, well, he's old, what are you going to do type thing. Maybe we'll go get him some stuff from the vet, but I'm sure that would cost $4 million. So I took a shot at this, I won't say where because I don't really want to support him, but you can probably guess where.
Oh, she's ready, sweet girl.
Oh, she's psycho.
Hi, thank you, boy.
So I started giving it to him, and at first it's like, give 4 a day as a starter dose. That's a waste. I give him 2 a day, and he started, I swear it took a day, 2 tops. He started jumping and running around like he was a kid again. I was, maybe not quite that, but you get the impact. It was incredible, and it's not like just my imagination, everybody else noticed, so there's that. And then I hesitate to even bring these out because they're going to go psycho.
Well, here she goes. Well, now they can see.
First and foremost,
this is true life right here.
You can't give your cats these because once you stop, they will murder you in your sleep.
Look at this
They're
baby.
they love them.
Sweetie.
But here's the thing. I know someone who needed $1,200 worth of dental work for their cats. Instead, they spent, that other stuff was $11.99. This stuff is $7.99, I believe. And they started giving them this, went back to the vet, and the vet was basically like, "Oh, you went somewhere else to get their teeth?" It's like, no. They spent $7.99 and gave them these. And again, instead of 8 twice a day, I believe the instructions, I cut that in half because it's 32 a day with 2 cats, and that's ridiculous. But these two, a lot of products are BS. These ones are definitely not. I get 1. Holy smokes.
You got to give her 1, right?
Because I tend to.
You kind of tore, yeah. I mean, and this is legit, like.
They're legit.
So what was it?
Did
like
she get it?
I was up at like 5:15 this morning, and I
the
see, lo
problem-
and behold,
holy
the sweet
smokes.
little Winnie by Jason's head.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. They're going to annoy the F out of you.
So somebody had to get kicked the heck out.
Holy smokes.
Because I knew she was trying to
fat-ass.
harass him for the treats because every morning it's like the same thing. So finally I was like, enough's enough. Out. And then, so we kick her out, and then 7 o'clock she comes in, meow, meow.
They're not too bad. It's just the times of the day when you get them used to giving it to them. They kind of get you. They know.
That's the cats like to wake you too, right?
Yeah.
They'll wake you bright and early at 5 or 6 to get their treats.
They know what their treats are. So what I would recommend is administering them. Giving it to them, maybe at like afternoon, 1 in the afternoon, or maybe when you get home from work at 2 or 3, if you get home, whatever, and then at night before bed. So avoid doing it right when you wake up or in the morning. That way they won't get used to it at that time and just start meowing at like 5 a.m.
Right.
That's kind of the mistake, is we were good, but then my wife started getting up earlier and giving them to him a little earlier. So
that actually might be my fault.
It is.
Oops.
I just didn't want to say anything.
But I think I started giving it to them at like 6:37,
Yeah.
not 5.
Yeah,
I do not
Yeah,
give them treats at
but-
5. She's
yes,
just psycho.
but they don't have they don't have phones with watches, or so they don't know exactly. They just know about what time. And as far as she's concerned, 5 o'clock is 7 o'clock, 6:30. So, and she's now in the rabbit cage.
I was just gonna say. So yesterday I gave everybody
Give her 17
quick
drinks.
update. If they watched the solo, my first solo video that I did.
I beat you. I had one before.
Oh, well, that's okay. So we're trying.
our
So I
tens
think we're
of
going to do
viewers.
some solo videos now and our joint videos. So at the end of the solo video, I announced that we got. What did we get?
Another pain in the ass. I don't know.
Oh, he's the sweetest,
Oh,
Mr. Marvin
a
Man.
rabbit.
Yay!
And despite my sincerest efforts, there's still hay all around his cage.
Yeah, that's the most annoying part, to be honest.
And the vacuum just doesn't like to pick up hay. We've got a good vacuum.
I think we need to bring the pet one
That
from downstairs.
That one doesn't either. I tried. Did you notice
Really?
it's moved? Well, hay is hard
It's
to...
hard.
Yeah.
What, do you got to sweep it maybe, guys? I
Kinda.
don't know. Does anybody have tips on how to clean up hay?
Don't use hay.
Don't use hay,
Something
but you
weird.
got to, like, rabbits love hay.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
I had a rabbit called Buttercup, when I was growing up. My sister had one named Snowball, and I had a ton of fun. Our rabbits lived out back, though, because it was New York.
How did they do that in the winter, though?
Well, rabbits obviously live out here, right, during the summer.
Yeah, but they burrow deep into the ground.
Oh, well, we burrowed. We
whatever.
made a thing so they were always, like, warm and stuff. I think that's how it worked. They were fine.
Okay.
My grandpa had rabbits. My grandpa loved rabbits, so we'd always do
Wait,
like
Angel, right?
Yeah,
Not-
Angel.
yeah, so it was like not-
Angel. My grandpa had like chickens.
Loved animals,
he
and then
did.
Grandma, his wife, hated animals. So
Like,
you can imagine how that went.
Oh, she was pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed.
And she was an old Italian, and he was an old Puerto Rican.
So that
You
was-
can also imagine how that went.
Oh,
He was also a Green Beret.
He's the
And we're talking a
best.
Green Beret before they got sort of like, not that they have so much, but PCIs, they're still, the teams are still good, but you get the idea. Let me tell you, he was as hard as a coffin nail.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
could never tell. He was like, as he got, he was so friendly and nice and awesome, but
he was this.
he
Yeah.
was as hard as a coffin nail.
And he was, and then he grew up in Puerto Rico, so he came to the United States and taught himself English, and he joined the army, and that's where he did
Became
his
a nurse. Yeah, he was
he was
what?
gonna do a nurse, but he decided to do phlebotomy, and he ended up running our hospital's phlebotomy lab all like
He's
on his
what you're
own.
supposed to do.
Did the fire
Now,
department.
We're all down for help. Trust me when I say we're all down
Well, I
for
just wanted
helping.
to say, my grandpa
go.
was a hardcore, awesome man.
We're all
so-
down for helping people,
Happy
and
Memorial
I'm not.
Day.
We're not just saying that. Help.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone sneaks in with their hand out, or they sneak in because they know they're going to get that, like it's not like I don't feel for those people, but that just
Fix them up
isn't
while you're here.
conducive to building a strong country. There's just no argument against that. Now, some people will try to argue that, well, they'll get here and they'll work hard and it just reality in the study that just doesn't happen. I mean, maybe one out of
I think
100,
sometimes
maybe
you
one
can't.
out of
It's not
100.
Never. You never want to say never.
Right,
Say
but it's
never because
so
I don't know if it's
close.
the truth.
It's
but
so close that
takes a
you
certain
get the idea.
person.
But I don't want to get into this. It's just the idea. Here we are.
Well, right, and and obviously
She's-
my grandpa was
nothing's gonna collapse on
so I
her.
just wanted because Memorial
Well, and to
Day
point out the
just-
difference.
Well, Memorial Day
Yeah.
just passed, so actually I could get a little picture and we can show my grandpa
yeah.
because, like I said, he was in the army. He did. Actually, he used to jump out of planes too.
He was a Green
So
Beret.
Yeah, he was a Green Beret. Jumped out of planes.
that's-
So there's my grandpa, Angel. Yay! And he did a lot for his family. So
Let me tell you too, Alzheimer's and dementia. I know everybody knows if you know of experience with it. It's because he ended up getting that, and it's terrible.
yes, yeah, that's what he.
terrible.
He did pass away from that, but
Even before that, the toll it takes to take care of them and the work. Oh, it's terrible.
Sorry,
That's what I'm
she's
saying. She's
still
gonna
up
collapse
there.
that, and it's gonna fall in. It's gonna be funny.
So we got Marv. So our rabbit's name is Marv Man.
I wanted to
and
name him Rabbi because our Rabbi. The
I actually
Rabbit,
liked Rabbi the Rabbit too, to be honest.
just as a joke.
I thought that was pretty freaking hilarious.
That got shot
but-
down though by the 8-year-old.
So we bought the bunny because Bella had been asking.
No, we didn't buy the bunny.
Oh, actually, you're right. Wait, we didn't.
because
Explain it.
we're saving money / broke. The local not SPC, the animal.
Humane Society.
Yeah.
And this is even better than buying it. to
They
be
were
honest.
free. And normally you had to pay a $35 application fee, but they were waiving that. So the rabbits were free. Apparently they were rescued from a hoarder. But the hoarder wasn't like mistreating them per se.
Right.
They just couldn't handle the number. It was just someone who loved animals and rabbits probably and just couldn't end up handling it. Because the rabbits are he's very social. He's not like, let me take that back. He's not used to like petting him yet. But as far as you can be like the vacuum cleaner, you could run the vacuum cleaner next to the cage. He just sits there. You could have your hands in the cage cleaning it. You could have your hands next to him. He'll take food out of your hands. He just isn't in love with you petting him just yet. So we're slowly working on that.
Bella's
Just
actually
it's
been
getting a
able
little better.
to. Well, Bella,
But,
remember when
yeah,
Bella can touch
yeah.
his nose now?
So-
in the last couple days,
Yeah.
we've gotten some improvement.
So he's
Keep going.
very socialized. He's awesome. So all we had to do is snag a cage, and hay is like $4.97 a bag, and that lasts quite a bit. It's
He's really fun and sweet.
just I wish sometimes we let him out once and hop him around. I kind of feel that they need more room. So when we get to more of a set up spot, I'm gonna build them up. Or
cage.
if we, where we end up going.
And we'll give them that update
In the
next.
backyard, I can even make like, cause I have the idea. I think what I could do is get chicken wire and then secure it to PVC pipe so it doesn't rot.
Right.
And then I would dig a trough of about 4 inches wide, bury that about a foot into the ground. I don't know how I have to look to see how far they can dig down, but I think if I bury it about a foot into the ground, so you have the chicken wire, it looks like it'll just sink into the dirt, and then I'll build it 3 feet up so you can't jump and cut, and that way you can make a huge,
Oh yeah.
an outdoor, maybe like
A bigger
10 by
well, that's
5.
right. That's what we had, a big
Yeah,
one.
10 by 5.
I think we had one of
And,
those. And remember, it takes time to like socialize them. So he's getting more lovey. Like yesterday, he came out and had Bella touch the nose and was pawing at her. So we've only had him for like 2 to 3 weeks.
And we leave the door open. The kid, we're like, all right, we'll let him hop out because the cats don't care at all. They don't have front claws.
No, and he's got a playpen and a nice
but
cage.
he won't come out at all. But yesterday he started to like put his paws up, and I mean they are prey animals, so they're scared of.
Listening.
Yeah.
Hi, Marv. He knows we're talking about
They're
him.
scared of everything.
But
that's why I'm surprised at how social he is. Well,
right. And I think sometimes if you we might have socialized him a little too quick in the beginning.
I picked him up to get him out, and they don't like that. And the second time I did, he kind of growled at me, got pissed, but he still came back and took stuff. So
yeah, he's not that bad, but it might have just. I think he's getting now to the point where he's getting comfortable to.
Yeah.
Because they say it can take like 3 months, like. It could take a while
it's a prey animal.
but they will actually.
I guess they can
around
become
with you.
quite sociable.
Yep,
Yeah.
tricks. They can do tricks. They can jump on you, and I think he'll get there.
I'm just nervous about. I don't care about that. I'm just nervous about getting chomped on, because I'll tell you right now, you don't want to get bit by a rabbit. They're like sewing machines. Before you know it, you have. I mean, and they won't. I don't think he would do it on purpose. It's just if they like one time I think. Remember they found that one rabbit and he was on my lap, and if they decide to like test your pants to just take a chomp, you're getting bit in the leg.
Yeah, it's kind of like my little thing. That's why I'm like kind of cautious when we go to feed them, because I'm like, I don't want to take a chunk out of that.
That's why I told you to cut the treats a little longer.
Yes.
That way if they're too and the sugar ones, I put them down right in front of them. I don't let them take it on my hands.
Oh, heck no.
And the carrots, I make a little longer.
Yes.
Any treat that I get long, if it's not, I put it down. That way you don't take, because she's not meaning to do it. If he's taking a treat out of your hand, he just wants the treat. So it's like, you be smart, and you're the human, you have the brain. Don't get mad at the rabbit. If you accidentally, you cut your carrot instead of this short, you make
we started that off, and then
you make it a little longer so he won't bite your finger when you.
A funny thing about him, though, he gets really pissy when his food bowl was empty. He's hilarious.
Oh, he knocks it over. And, he's pissed.
Okay, so usually in the morning and at night when his bowl's empty, you start to hear him hop around and throw the bowl all over the cage. And he's literally just makes a ton of racket until you come and you feed him Mr. Barf. He's really fun though.
Did he get his
We're so happy though that I think
did he get his spinach this morning?
Bella's gonna do it this afternoon.
She could do it twice a day.
That's what I was thinking. So we'll give him some.
Yeah.
But he's been
so
much fun. And like I said, it was Bella wanted
13 minutes.
Bella kind of was 2 months ago.
She wanted a rascally rabbit.
Either a guinea pig or a rabbit, because her hamster had passed a while back and she was getting the itch. And I was like, well, Bunny's better than a dog right now.
And I didn't realize
guinea pig is okay, but bunnies are.
And then
funner.
Once I heard you could get them potty trained, I was like, okay.
And that is your
I was
dream.
sold,
So,
because then you have to shit all over the cage.
did you tell him what you got him to? You got him trained.
Oh yeah, he's on a litter box.
Yeah, it was freaking. You did a great job.
Now, of course, I didn't
babe.
realize that I didn't realize that hay would be all over the place now. But it's like we live in a barn.
Maybe we just need a rug or a sheet or something, or maybe a broom. But anywho, so why don't we move on to a big update?
Do we have a big update?
It's the story of our whole entire summer. I think I
see. Here's what happens. Let me explain real quick. This will make sense. when you're under a lot of stress, your brain ceases to function, like your memory and stuff.
Every day.
And this is different per person to person, but in general, the more stress you have, you're short term. So when she's like, like aliens landed, and like 5 minutes later, I'm like, what happened? You said
Our life has been crazy, guys, and I've elaborated on it.
And
in the
some
other
of it is from,
videos.
you got to remember, we're very cognizant of what our stresses are from stupid decision making, because we're trying to improve.
To health.
Health, which is not our fault at all.
To a big.
The move, which.
So yes, do you want to announce it?
The move?
Yeah, that's the big update.
We're moving to Potato Land.
We're officially moving to Idaho, like for real. End of August.
That's the
August
target
31st
completion
is
date.
the completion date.
And let me just explain.
Oh my goodness.
We
little
currently
scary,
live
a little
in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, you
or
go for
a suburb of. And this is the 5th biggest city in the United States, of roughly 5 million people. People are pouring in here by the dozens, by the lots. And not the type of people that necessarily, some are escaping because they're sick and tired of it, but some are a lot of the types that made their own bed but don't want to lie in it and don't realize that their voting habits caused the mess over where they were. And it's already starting to show up in the elections here. So, but that's only one aspect of it. Really, that is something,
so
whatever.
Kind of down the line.
But
it's not the real.
one of the big reasons is, byproduct of all these people moving in. Another one is, they're literally building thousands of houses around here, and I'm not joking. Where we used to live, and farther out a little bit, and I talk to people, and I talk to them about it, and everybody brings it up, and it's like, the roads, the traffic, and blah blah, and it's like, yeah, though that's a point and a good one. However, I don't think you're thinking big enough or serious enough. And they're like, wow, it's more serious. And I'm like, water. We live in the desert, and we get fed from Lake Mead and Lake Powell. And we drove by Lake Powell. We went to go see Idaho 2 months ago, and it should be called Puddle
That
Powell.
kind of was a little bit of a rude awakening.
Like the media
'cause
lies.
I don't even see. I didn't see any water anywhere there.
It was
to be
down
honest.
so low you couldn't really. We saw one time where we could look down and see by the marina. The media lies about pretty much everything, in my opinion, but they're not lying about that.
Well, there's some things that aren't right. They're
And and we're already hearing rumblings of water restrictions. So you have to ask yourself.
And with more people coming, it's just a lot of resources.
You have to ask yourself why they keep approving all these new houses being built and all this jazz when the water is going bye-bye. So we really want to beat that.
Or like road systems.
Yeah, well, right. So we want to. There's issues with water. There's issues with general infrastructure.
Right.
Another thing people don't realize. There's already kind of a doctor shortage, and when you bring tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, new people into area within a short period of time, and remember, short and long is relative in terms of micro versus macro level, like micro being your neighborhood. So if 5 people moved in a week, but we're talking large cities and states, and so a couple 100,000 people over the span of 2 or 3 years is still considered a ton on the macro level. So when you have X amount of doctors who are already kind of, we're doctor shortage,
right.
And then you add a 200, 300, 400% patient load, and we've already seen it. Like our doctors, went from taking, some of them, it's different for each doctor, but there's an increase in wait times for all of them. Some of them have gone up 100%.
Right.
Some of them gone up 200, 300, 400, 500% wait times. I'm not joking. So there's that. Now, if you're not sick, what is she playing with now? If you're not sick, you don't have issues, you're just trying to get into your primary care, you're still going to wait longer because primary cares are getting inundated too. But maybe it's not such a big deal. You got a specialty.
And things,
you have a specialty issue, especially with your lungs. Forget it.
Between COVID and
it just sounded like oh my God.
Well, I can speak of this as truth because I have asthma from like RA and all sorts of like allergies and things.
Bored.
And it took me
Winnie,
because of COVID
Winnie, what are you
and
doing?
all the people coming here. Like
what are you doing?
months. And think about how hard that is when you're suffering from
Yeah, what do you
something.
do?
You know,
what do you do?
it's a long way.
Because you know what else is happening? I'll tell you what else is happening. We
It's kind of
forgot.
stressful.
You know what else is happening? We forgot. The primary cares now, all of a sudden, it seems
Oh,
like...
this is a big
well,
one.
Well,
Yes.
they used to say, okay, well, we'll bridge you. Bridge is the medical term for
Yes.
we'll hold you over with medications until you get to the specialist and let them take over. Now,
Right.
I'll try to cover both sides of it to the best of my knowledge, and I understand there might be someone out there who's like, you're an effing idiot, you forgot about this. I'm sure
Yeah,
there
there's
is.
both sides to every story.
So,
We're not lambasting completely. We understand
So
that.
now you
but-
have your primary cares who are inundated, I'm sure. With
Yeah, they
but
are.
They're starting to go, well, we don't want to do, we're not, that's not.
For maybe business, maybe it's not the PCPs.
Whatever,
it could be the
but
corporate
it's
down.
like,
whatever, though. It
It's
is
like
what it is.
they're being more hesitant to prescribe the more serious drugs, well, whatever, that you need in order to get into your specialist.
And I can
and
have
it's
I have a story after you're
Yes,
done.
and
so.
it's like, well, here's the thing. You're the one who referred the specialist, and you knew you know how long it's going to take. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? If it's a prescription drugs, because the government, which thinks it's our parents, can tell me I can't go buy this over the counter. Which, again, that's a whole other separate argument. I get some people aren't going to want to hear that, but whatever. So I have to beg someone else, but you mean tell me I have to wait 3 months? Now you don't want to do it, and I get that. Here again, I know I'm pooping on him there, but I also understand that a family doctor is not the specialist, and I understand why they may be hesitant to prescribe something like Humira for RA because they don't necessarily know what specific tests, like blood work, but what to look for. I get that. And we could go down this rabbit hole. I could list a whole bunch of pros. I'm not one of those people who's like, that's bull.
Well, I do
get it,
have
but
an
we
option,
don't know.
actually, that people could do, but it takes work.
Well, but wait, but just listen real quick. Listen to.
But
now,
yeah, I have plenty of stories.
Some
so
people,
go for it. You
some
finish,
people,
and then I'll say my
yeah,
stories.
I'll listen. I'll finish up. With
No,
this.
no, you're fine.
Some
You're doing
people
great.
might say that,
Perfect.
and I get again, half of me is like,
love
well,
it.
I get why they did this, and the other half of me is like, man, they have balls doing this. They called up without her knowledge, her specialist, and harassed them to get her in earlier than her date.
Oh, this is for my lung appointment.
Yeah.
I have 3 pretty good
So
stories.
on one hand, it's like, well, hey, thanks, because they've been telling me they couldn't get me in earlier. But on the other hand, it's like, who the F are you to like? What did you know? What if I wasn't
Right.
in that week? What if I couldn't make the
Right.
date you made,
And then you cancel.
and I can't get the other day because I'm out? It's like, who the F are you
Like,
to
who
do
the F
that?
would do
It's
that?
like, shut your mouth. You're the primary care. Bridge me until I get into the specialist, which you referred to me to, which you
Right.
know has a long wait time.
Yes.
But at the same time, that's not their specialty. They don't know. Do you even want to get your care from someone who doesn't really know? It's like, I get it.
Let me
I
tell a
get
story
it.
because this is actually pretty
But
easy one.
we don't want to come across as those people that don't
could-
understand
yes.
both. I get it.
Yes,
It's
but
hard.
this story in particular was something that was going on for a while anyway. So So here, let me tell you some stories because I think it makes more sense when you actually have personal stories, and it's not like lambasting, but we all we got to think.
Real
about
quick, hang on.
people,
I
right?
want to say something real quick. Sorry, I'm sorry.
People.
Once in a while, you might hear her mispronounce a word or misuse a word. You must understand this is a straight A student she has 2 college degrees, not stupid ones.
Thank you.
College, all that. Her parents had issues with development growing up and didn't speak well.
Yeah.
So for the first 10 years, whatever, you grew up around these people, so you hear them
My
speak.
whole life, I guess. Technically.
Yeah, so when they don't speak right and don't use the right words, that's how she learns. So it's hard to
break that habit.
of word, So if you hear and you're like, oh, she's just a dumb blind, rest assured that's not the case.
Very true.
I mean, she isn't as smart as me.
Oh, hey.
But anyway.
So,
yes.
Okay, so let's start with the first story because you've mentioned the Humira. So, obviously everybody knows that I have RA and I take a biologic I used to call Humira.
RA means really awesome if you don't know.
Really, really awesome person over here.
Rheumatoid
arthritis. And that was like my main medication. And in January, my old provider and I had decided to switch it. But there, unfortunately, was just, I'm not going to go into it. There's an issue with insurance. So I had to change providers. So it took 3 months to get into a new RA doctor. And suddenly my insurance was kind of giving me like
The runaround.
the runaround because my doctor couldn't really like prescribe it anymore. It was like who's gonna prescribe this Humira? Like what am I gonna do? I didn't have any refills, so the insurance is like, well, it needs to go to your primary care. And this is from the insurance. You know, obviously, like my old doctor she was amazing and would help out with whatever.
Dr. Pace.
But yeah. And Dr. Pace's and her office are just phenomenal. And I won't name the other like people because I don't want to do that right now. You know, it's just more of like
because
story.
listen,
It's
like
not
I said, I do kind of see, you know, there's two sides to it.
Right. This is just sort of so. Anywho, you know, I go to call the PCP, and it's like, even after the insurance telling them they want to wash their hands clean with it and kind of leave me high and dry for 3 months without a biologic with RA. How would anybody feel if you're sick and suddenly your PCP won't try anything to work with you to get a specialty medication when the insurance is sort of forcing that, instead of going, well, you know what, I don't know, but maybe I can call Dr. Pace. Maybe we could just kind of work together so I could get her insight for the patient, so then I at least can feel like comfortable, like, okay, like this is what Jessica normally gets. This is how you do it. This will be fine. Jessica's got an appointment. Like, I can at least feel like comfortable now because as a nurse practitioner, we call doctors. Like I was a nurse and being trained to be an MP, and part of being an MP and practicing as a PA is you have to call doctors and work with other medical professionals to bridge people when you don't feel comfortable, because unfortunately there's going to be these type of situations, but I didn't really get that. So thankfully, thankfully, and I praise God for that, I was able to still get my Humira because the pharmacy suddenly had found an old prescription refill, and I was just able to get my prescription, and I will thank the Lord forever for just taking care of that for me, and because it was gone, and then it suddenly appeared.
Yeah, they said there's
It was nothing
They
there.
said they were like, you gotta get a doctor refill
Yeah.
prescriptions. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
And so it ended up working out okay, but it was a really eye-opener for me. And then the same PCP who has been prescribing me my albuterol nebs, inhalers, these are just albuterols, guys. They're nothing hardcore.
Yeah, this is where the PCP is the one. This is where the PCP.
This
This is where the
really-
PCP
right.
does need to take it up the ass.
A
'Cause-
little,
and they're the one who
right.
they're the one who started.
And
it,
like
too.
I said, with the specialty med, I get it, but then you have to go to the specialist and just coordinate it. You know, that's what you do. But this was albuterol. They had been prescribing me albuterol for like a year almost. Like, it was like no big deal. And, you know, I take them because my RA wasn't really under control. So I used them like around the clock because I've got RA and I've got a major allergic reaction to dust living in Arizona, which is one of the reasons we're leaving.
Yeah, which is great.
And
yeah, I didn't even include that. I'm sorry. I forgot.
yes, it's okay. And, you know, suddenly in, I think it was February or March, they started like giving me major pushback. They started cutting it down and they were questioning me and making me feel like, well, blah, 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 why are you using this? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, this is why. Like, I have RA. It is uncontrolled. I have asthma. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, what's this pushback now? Why? What's, you've been doing this forever? Like, why? And it was pretty bad. It was enough for me to go, well, you know, why suddenly now is there an issue with just basic albuterol? It's not even addicting. It's to help me breathe so I don't go to the hospital. Like, how, I mean, now, you know, I'm already dealing with Humira. Now you're trying to do the albuterol away. Like, what is going on? So in that, you know, situation, I don't think that was called for. So it definitely made me think about what's going on with the medical community.
Oh, that's
like,
a whole
what
other,
the heck?
that's a whole other video. Since COVID started, it was getting bad before. It depends on which
some people argue it's fine, and I guess relatively.
And I don't even need to go into the last one, but those are just a couple of
that
examples.
could be a whole other video because
right.
Again, you could
but
still
it was
say
an eye opener for me and for other
major
patients.
major problems in the medical community.
Yes,
as far
right
as
now,
everything.
for sure, something.
But at the same time, you still can take a step back and go, well, it's better than being in like
right.
the
There's always a
freaking
positive.
middle of nowhere of like South America, and then what kind of medical treatment would you get there? So
right.
that's the problem.
And
it's like
hard.
we always have to
It's
stop
so
and thank
hard.
God, like
right.
that we still do have access now, and we're also not going to get into how. Again, thankful we still have access, but we're not going to get into how the pharmaceuticals are starting to donate tons of money to doctor colleges, and doctors are starting to just prescribe instead of finding out what's causing the problem. And you try to mention like natural holistic, and they're like, "Well, it's quackery."
And
it's
I
like,
was
no,
just
you're quack.
thinking, it's like
It's
with the and we understand there's a lot going on right now, and these like providers and stuff, since COVID, everything's kind of gone down. But then there's also this business involvement, like these bigger business corporations that could even be affecting the medical community, making it harder for providers. So we don't want to just lambaste. Yep. Providers and things like that, but make it aware of like there's a big huge picture too.
There's a problem.
Right, it trickles down
problem.
and then
Yes.
I think like
and we were in the medical community,
get it
so
last,
we're not just blowing out.
They get it from the higher ups, and then that puts pressure on providers. But who suffers? Patients, and it's not just about me. It's about patients all over, ones that can't even speak up for themselves, which is so sad, because if it's happening to somebody like me who is educated and can speak up, then what is going on to all the other ones?
They just take what they're prescribed and don't ask it if it has been. Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Let me just.
That was my spiel.
We'll wrap it up, but I want to just say,
because we're going to go into another
because
topic.
Here's
too.
what people do, and here's what I want to be very clear about. People need to stop arguing about what we're told to argue about, and where do you get that from the media? So, in this, I have a perfect example. You want to sit here and think we're bitching about doctors, although we do realize the other side. So, if you go to a doctor, remember, I worked at a doctor's office directly almost with the owner and the operator, because we were pretty tight. I worked there for a while. And he will sit there and bitch about operating costs and governmental, how much it costs. So, and those are all valid points. I've seen it with my own eyes. So then you got to tie in pharmaceutical. So if you drill down, what's the real cause of the problem? Well, you blame the doctor. The doctor blames it. Usually always ends up at one place. Yeah. The government.
Somewhere along there, or a corporation.
But the corporations are in cahoots with the government.
Yeah, that's true.
It always ends up. It always ends up, because remember, the big corporations, if they're tied in,
even private,
they
right?
pay off. They pay off politicians. It's the greed. Well, it's greed. It's the devil. It's greed.
Yep.
It's protecting yourself. Oh, I want this job at this big company afterwards, so I'll let that law pass. Not look in the other direction.
Yeah, like turn the other cheek.
Turn the other eye type must be careful of, everybody, is you must, when you're out in public, or even when you're doing yourselves and you're arguing or debating a current topic, stop and go, wait a minute. What is the topic? Why are we talking about it? Yeah, maybe it's important, but if you got it from the media, maybe it's just to get you riled up, to divide you with another person, with the other groups of people, to create more strife, while because we're all divided, we're distracted from what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because remember, you're not.
It is a distraction.
Let me tell you something. You might identify with your values with Democrats. You might root with the Republicans.
Or independent, or whatever it is.
But the people who you think you support, who you think represent you, those R's and D's after their name, those are just for show.
Or even I's.
Yeah, they're just for show.
Anybody, to be honest.
Every once in a while, they might do something that's just for show. Trust me. So most of them are just either know about the scam, but don't want to, or are directly involved, or know about it, but don't. Maybe some are in there, but don't have the power to fight it. Because you can hear stories. You can go research this. They'll say, "Well, I was voted in my first day in office. I was basically told, if you try to do this, we'll vote you. This will be your only term." and I know there's people right now that are going to watch and go, well, that's not true. You have to ask yourself why you so vehemently right now are getting angry at what I'm saying.
Well, I was just going to say quickly.
'Cause it's true.
I just feel like we're going to get into a quick prayer and change a different
let's
topic,
move
but
on.
I feel like this is something that the Lord actually has been
We have many
laying on our
videos.
hearts.
We have many videos coming.
A lot lately, and just like, and when you watch if you guys do watch that, it kind of talks. That's fine.
Okay, sure.
I'm okay. I think we're just gonna we'll do whatever.
Wait, so what's the next topic?
Hold on.
Sorry.
So
We're working on not interrupting each other. And
No, it's just I feel
Oh.
like in the spirit lately, have we been being more like spirit led, and and I've talked and it's in the other video. And just in a lot of prayer and a lot of spirit, there's just some of these things that he's laid out on our heart. So that's sort of where it's coming from, actually. Not, just like...
I've been like this for...
yes.
I've been like this for 35 years.
But I feel
so
like,
you're
we're,
30.
when we want to
Oh, I mean,
speak up
10,
boldly for
20 years
issues,
old.
I guess, that are really important to the Lord, So I'm going to do a quick prayer. And then we're going to get into another topic that's sort of been laid on our hearts with, and this is not meant in a bad way, but just missions and community.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a pretty big one, too. So let me do a
Maybe
quick
that should
prayer.
be another video because that can turn long. And we're already at almost 40 minutes. Maybe that should be another video. Because then we have time to devote. We want to talk. This is the main reason, after all, to read and talk about this.
Let me do a prayer and we'll see what gets
Marv?
laid out.
Oh, he's starting the bowl pushing. Oh, you know what will be real quick? Another video is, we're not experts, but maybe it might help a couple out there. Couples, we are going to share what we've done over the course of our relationship, especially recently, to improve. Not that it was ever bad. I honestly, our relationship, we never really, except for, we'll get into that, but never argued. We were always on the same page.
Is he doing it with
see?
the bowl?
Yeah, see?
Oh, you guys,
See?
you get to
you can
know.
hear it. He's
Yes.
like, all right, people, it's time. He's pulling up his paw and looking at his watch. So we'll offer tips of what we did.
So I'm sorry I missed this. Which one are you talking about?
A video we should make about how we are working on our relationship.
Yes.
What's funny is our relationship wasn't bad. It never was.
No, it actually wasn't.
But we will give you tips that if you're serious about fixing a relationship, that's the first step. You got to really think, do I really want to be with this person, or is it just out of convenience?
Well, and there's always things to work on.
Yes.
When
Yes.
life gets hard, too,
Yes.
sometimes like a person changes or they're working
Yeah,
through
someone
things.
someone takes a medication and changes, and then the arguments do start. It's like,
Right, how do you work through it? Right, because
Tough.
you want to keep your marriage, and that's
because a lot of people do split when serious illness hits, and you always hear, well, the person left me when I had a serious illness, and everybody's like, that's terrible, what a scumbag, or what a biatch. But when it happens to you firsthand, and you see the person you were with completely change and just yell over everything, not whatever, but that's not exactly, but I'm just saying, you go, oh, well, not that it's right, or not that I'm going to do it, but you do kind of see why people just say, F it, I'm out of here. It's no longer like, what a scumbag. It's like, oh, wow, this is hard. But there's ways to deal with it.
Yeah, and-
it's like anything else. You got to want it.
Well, and there's some other
It's
video
not easy.
topics too, so we
have
won't get
tons of them.
into
All right,
that.
so yeah, let's prayer.
We're gonna do that. I think there's a critical thinking one, and we're gonna do
yes.
a parenting one, but we won't get into that. And we're gonna do the missions one. So
And we're
I think you're right.
professionals
We'll
at
do that
everything.
another-
We're professionals at everything. So
That might be the next one, actually, and we'll see. I think the missions one.
And we're both, actually, she has a psychology degree, and that's pretty much all I do in my free time is study psychology. So we're going to be giving you things that are not just hick, like, well, we thought that, these are legitimate things. I just think we can describe them or tell you to implement in a way that's kind of more like helpful.
Yeah. So
Or
anyway,
maybe
we're moving to Idaho.
Recap? Yes, is that the recap? Yeah.
Yes, so we're moving to Idaho by August 31st. So We are in like crazy before we get into the word.
So if anybody's in the Kuna or Horseshoe Bend area
Yeah.
who has a cheap but nice apartment,
we're in the lookout right now.
because we're going to get a house, but first we're going to the apartment.
Yep. So the plan is
Apartment first,
yep.
and scope out the area. We went up there for a week and it was all drive around and look, and it's awesome, but that's not enough time.
no.
Scoop out because we want to be out. I don't want to see my neighbors. Not a bit.
No,
you know.
right.
I mean, I don't want to,
Because part of this move is for space because we feel so cramped in Phoenix and we love like land
Like
and
when I want to
space
throw the
and
football with my
seasons.
daughter, I can throw it a good couple hundred yards because I'm,
Yeah, give me those muscles.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So, just
Yeah, so that, and like we're kind of now getting like the starting stages of just packing, selling things, like figuring out everything. It does get overwhelming in the beginning because you just start out with a big bunch of and then as you make progress and whatever, it's like, I think for me, I'm practicing with moving. I don't know if people get like that, like almost like that anxiety of like, I gotta get it done. But I'm like one of those people.
So we always start. Moved a lot. We start about 3 months early. And you start by pick a room. Trust me. And then when the day comes, you're like, wow, that didn't feel that bad.
And that I'm learning actually even now to slow down because like I feel like crunch time, but then I realize no, there 3 months is pretty good, and just actually trying to have fun, I guess, right? Like like what you said, just pick a room and like
Well, and
go
plus,
through
you have to have a
it,
plan.
have some memories as you're
That's a
looking
plan.
through it,
We
but
really
don't go
should
too
teach.
slow.
You have to have a plan. You got to write
Yes.
stuff. Listen. If you want your life to get better, just follow us. And I'm telling
Maybe
you
not.
right now.
You want some crazy ass shit.
I'm telling you right now, though, it's not going to be easy. You have to write stuff. She's got it in her mouth. You have to. Our animals are crazy. You have to
We're just crazy.
actually write
That's
stuff
us.
down.
I love it.
You have to plan. You have to stick by your plan. You need to have a budget. You need to really be honest with the budget. You need to. Otherwise, if you do that, along with other things, your life, I promise you, will get better. If you just wake up every day and don't have things written down and don't have a plan and think, yeah, it might be okay for a while, but trust me, it's not going to work. You're gonna sooner or later you're gonna be like, well, why is everything like this? And yeah,
Do you want to? So we'll move on to prayer, and then
38.
do you want to do 38 and I do 39? I'll let you look for a quick second, and then I will pray us into the word.
Word.
Word, the
is
word,
That's fine.
word.
I mean, they look both about the same, right?
Yeah, I don't personally care, like whatever. I'm just excited to.
I like reading.
Yeah, me too.
I'll do 38.
Okay, and then I'll do 39.
All right. Do you want to
Yeah,
which one do you want to do?
I'm gonna do the opener.
You're gonna intro.
Yeah, I'm going to intro it, and then you
Okay.
can outro it. So first and foremost, I just want to thank the Lord for just allowing us to speak His authority and word on the topics that we were able to, speak about in the beginning of the video. Thank you, Spirit, for all of your wisdom and discernment. And we pray as we read through your word that you would give us your in-between wisdom to teach us and our viewers your truth, and that we go to you for truth because you are God, and we know that you want to help us understand that. So we just pray that you can guide us as we read through these chapters, and that you bless our viewers. And we're thankful for anybody who takes the time to look through this, and we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, Babester Babe, take it away.
Again, I've got to hold this up because I'm telling you, the saliva in my mouth.
I hear a girl.
I hear something.
Hey, baby, you want to come
Shoulders
up
down.
quickly before we start to read the word?
Hello.
I learned another word in French.
Come say hi, sweet girl.
Je m'appelle Bella.
Oh,
That means my name is Bella.
Oh, how'd you learn that?
Alexa.
Oh, Alexa.
would you
We
say
didn't
teach
tell
me
you about
French?
Alexa. She's been
awesome.
our best friend lately.
Je m'appelle Bella.
Bella, you sound beautiful.
Sia Slim.
This is,
what is it from?
well,
this
you
is
guys
my
saw
mother?
Isabella in my
Sis
video.
the mame or
but if you
mame?
didn't
No,
watch my
sis
video,
ma
this
mère.
is my
Sis
amazing
ma
daughter.
mère.
She's freaking awesome.
And then
I love you.
Mon Frere is the brother.
Yes.
La Sueur is the sister. Right?
And Ciste La Père is the father?
Si La Pere. It's not that you don't pronounce the T.
C la pair.
C la, no, it's C. C la pair. It's C apostrophe EST, but you don't pronounce
C
it's
la pair.
C la pair.
Okay.
C ma mère.
Bonjour, salute.
Bonjour. Salute. Bonjour is good morning. What is,
Bonjour.
what's afternoon? Après midi.
No, I don't
It's
know.
après midi. APRES with a little thing, dash MIDI. So,
What is it called?
Après midi.
Après midi.
there you
That's
go.
afternoon.
She's
What's nuit?
Night.
So,
Good. Bon night.
bon-
Bonite.
Bonite.
Bonite means good night.
bonite, good
Oh,
night.
how are you? Como se va?
Comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
How are you?
comment ça va?
People,
What is it?
comment ça va?
What's,
I like it.
what is very well?
I don't know.
Crispy. How do I remember more than I'm 42 and I have no brain? How do I remember this
Hey,
more than you?
give her a break.
No, chop.
She's
child.
an awesome kid.
You are.
She's freaking smart.
You don't
guys.
even know how to say your own name in French.
Yeah, you
Jason.
tell him.
Ha ha.
Look at that!
No, like say this is my name in French. Don't even know how to say that. And
I never learned it. I don't have telekinesis.
Well, I said it a couple times,
And
so you
she's
should know.
sassy. She's a sassy girl.
I'm not.
Tresbien. It's very well. And then what was the other one? Oh, okay, so how do you say English in French? And it's not English. Longley.
What?
Longley. Like long lay, but longley.
Anglais.
It's English in French. Like I speak English, so it's like I speak longley.
But you gotta say all of that
Yes,
in French.
well, obviously.
So-
All right, chop.
Okay, so we're gonna
security on the set.
No, hold on. Did
Security.
you just come say hi, or do you need
Yes.
something quickly before we read?
Oh, no, I was just going to say hi.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Security.
glad you
Where's
said hi.
security?
I love
We got
you.
people on the set here.
Yeah, we're just gonna read our chapters and finish up. So, Babester Babe,
All right, out of here.
you're gonna take it away with 38.
Yes. All right here. Judah and Tamar. At that time, Judah left his brothers and went down to stay with a man of Adullam named Hirah. There Judah met the daughter of a Canaanite man named Shua. He married her and lay with her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son who was named She conceived again and gave birth to a son and named him Onan. She gave birth to still another son and named him Shelah. It was at Kezib that she gave birth to him. Judah got a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death.
Wait, which one was it? No, which one was the?
Judah got away for his firstborn, and his name was Nar. But Judah's first, was.
Is the wicked one.
See that right there? I keep telling people now. Before
And wait, there's capitals. So I don't know if anybody knows this quickly.
Oh Lord, L-O-R-D.
So L-O-R-D in capitals is
all capitals.
All capitals is Yahweh, and Yahweh is like the actual name.
But what is it
of
when just
our
the L
God.
is capital?
That just means Lord, not Yahweh. So that is something that we learned in our church. So I just
Okay.
wanted to point it out.
And I just want to
If
point
I
out,
say it, because I'm trying to get better at calling him by his name, Yahweh, when I'm speaking of that, since it's his personal name, he calls me Jessica type of thing.
I just want to
But
point
it's
out too.
okay. He's not going to smite me if I don't.
You're gonna get
He's
smited.
not like that. But
When I was ignorant before I started reading this and whatnot, all I heard was, "Oh, God is all loving and and I don't. People obviously who say that and believe that he is, but he will also kill the f out of you.
sort of, right?
So people
yeah.
were like, "Well, he would, yeah. He has children killed. He has women killed. Remember when he sent the Israelites into the Promised Land?
Well, they don't know yet. We'll keep going.
Right, but I'm saying
we don't want to get too far
No,
ahead.
but what I'm saying is,
but yeah, make your point. 'Cause
God,
it's a good point.
God, people. My point is there's a lot of people who haven't read the Bible,
Yeah.
who make comments and really believe things that they say simply because they heard them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And all they do is regurgitate that, or they parrot it because it fits the narrative that they've been brainwashed with. For example, I hear people say, well, the Bible's hypocritical. Well, I'm up to about a third, a little bit more of the way through the Bible.
We just finished Job.
Joel, yeah. So I have yet, and trust me, I'm looking. I have not found anything really that's out and out hypocritical.
And would you say that, like,
so-
when we don't, like, maybe understand, the best thing
Just-
we do is go to the Spirit and pray?
Yeah.
And the Lord will kind of, like, expand
Explain
on
it,
and
yeah.
explain what we're not maybe understanding.
Yes.
And it's coming from, like, Him, and you can check yourself, like, 20,000 ways.
Yeah. You can
And
read
once
other
you've-
people's, yeah.
Right.
And some things are taken out of context.
Yes.
We read people.
Yes.
So
there's ways to
yeah.
kind of figure it out.
Okay.
So, anywho.
Then Judah said to Onan, lie with your... Now this is a little... I get this...
Hey, they
people-
did it back then. What are you
Yeah,
going to
what are you
do,
gonna
I
do?
guess?
Lie with your brother's wife. Just as I get done saying the Bible's...
Well, that's just the
I know,
culture,
I know.
not the...
Lie with your
There
brother's...
was a lot of people back
Yeah.
then.
Lie with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to produce offspring for your brother. I mean, I get why, because the name, and she has to get... I kind of get it. But
Isn't there a point, too, where that
Yes,
stops?
It does.
Yeah,
but
so this is just the beginning.
But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his. So whenever he lay with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep from producing offspring for his brother.
And we're not sure.
Yeah. But God knows. So what he did was wicked in the Lord's sight. So
There
he
you
put
go.
him to death also.
So see, yeah, the Lord wasn't down
That'll
with
kill
that.
the F out of you.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
figured that because there's points later where that kind
know
of gets
more.
the kibosh.
Yes,
So.
One thing.
Yes.
You know how you
'cause
said
we want to
that-
get through the reading and not
Yeah,
kind
come
of...
on, no more.
No, it's really quick.
Well, okay,
Okay,
but it
quick.
doesn't
You know
matter.
how you said that your name is Jason in French?
Yes.
It's actually Jizen.
Ooh, thank you, Jizen.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I
Okay.
checked.
Okay,
website.
look, I don't want to interrupt the word too much,
My name is the Bomb.
but I like Jizen. Thank you, baby.
I don't. That's all right.
You're Jizen. All right, let's read it.
Judah then said to his daughter-in-law, Tamar, live as a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up. For he thought he may die too, just like his brothers. So Tamar went to live in her father's house. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went up to Timnah to the men who were shearing his sheep, and his friend Hirah, the Adulamite, went with him. When Tamar was told, your father-in-law is on the way to Timnah to shear his sheep, she took off her widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that, though Shelah had not grown up, she had not been given to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered up her face. Not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said, Come now, let me sleep with you. Very interesting. And what will you
Wait,
get?
what was that?
He was pimping, he's like, hey, let me get some of this over here because I'm a little bored.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So he
he's
thought
gotta
that
shear some sheep. I'm bored. Why not get laid?
because she covered her face. That's right. Oh, I remember
But
this
my question
part.
is, so wait a minute. So when they did it back then, did everybody stay covered up, including their faces, and they just unzip their pants, or did clothes not come off? How did he not know?
Back then, yeah, I think they did weird stuff like that. Right? It's a whole different thing.
See, I see. If you watched our doubt video, things like this in the Bible are. I do
no,
admit,
that's not a doubt thing.
But we
That
don't
could just
know.
be,
Well, because you're
maybe.
like, really?
Well,
Really?
maybe. I mean,
How did he not know? Did she? I mean, it's like.
well, think of
it's
like the Muslims. Don't they constantly have their
Yeah,
stuff
not when
covered?
they're having sex.
I don't know. Do they?
It's like you wear
I
a
have no freaking
snowsuit
idea.
and not.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm right. I don't know.
Let's go.
I'm just saying this.
That one is just
Yeah,
a
it's
whatever.
highly questionable.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know.
And what will you give me to sleep with you? She asked. I'll send you a young goat from my flock, he said. Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it? She asked. He said, What pledge should I give you? Your seal and its cord, and the staff in your hand, she answered. So he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again.
Wait, so she took off her.
Veil, and apparently they have specific clothes if you're a widow. I went into, that's
Wait,
weird.
so that they must have had sex in one type of outfit.
Yeah, she
with the
took
veil.
off. She took off her hoe clothing, her skein clothing.
Yes.
And then put back into her respectable widow's clothing. So apparently, though, if you're a widow, you can only wear certain things that depict
Doesn't
that you're a
surprise
widow.
me though.
And if you want to go out like clubbing,
Yeah.
you have to put on your veil and shit. So it was,
Yeah,
I get it.
okay.
Like, the girls got together in front of the mirror and instead of putting makeup on and wearing when you go out hoeing, apparently back then you had to put more on. You had to cover up completely. And this is the complete opposite of today.
Which is, at least that's better. At least you're less disgraced, I guess, technically.
I don't know.
They were nice to them back then.
Okay, so, blah, 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 blah. Where am I? Yeah. Meanwhile, Judas sent the young goat by his friend the Adulamite in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the men who lived there, "Where is the shrine prostitute who was beside the road at Enaim?" "There hasn't been any shrine prostitute here," they said. So he went back to Judah and said, "I didn't find her. Besides, the men who lived there said, there hasn't been any shrine prostitute here." Then Judah said, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughingstock. After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "How did they find out? Because you're not showing it 3 months."
It came to pass 3 months, it was told.
How did everybody else find out? Right?
Well, I wonder if she kind of told somebody. It's very easy,
Must
maybe
have.
she word of mouth, because obviously they saw
but
that she was
back then-
pregnant.
but back then you would
you see that somebody's pregnant, and maybe she slipped up to one person, and then one person.
Yeah, but back then it's not like today. Like back then, you got stoned to death for looking sideways. You know to keep your mouth shut, right?
No, those people aren't
people are
perfect.
people,
No,
but-
people are people. We underestimate
Yeah,
people.
but when the consequences are like death, you would be like, I'm not telling.
Sometimes things get out,
I mean,
so it
I
got
can't
out.
argue with that. Oh, those
Right,
seems weird to me.
right. It
Okay.
obviously got out, so that's the important part.
Yeah.
of
See,
it.
okay, ready? I'll tell you why. Ready?
Yeah, let's see if we can keep
And he
going.
knows this is his daughter-in-law. Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death."
There you
So
go.
you would be telling people, I'm sorry, but you wouldn't be saying shit to someone if you, whatever.
Somebody did. I don't think that's important.
As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law. "I am pregnant by the man who owns these." Oh, she fucked him hard. She said, and she added, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are." Judah recognized them and said, "She is more righteous than I." I don't see how you came to that
Wait,
conclusion.
discern, I pray thee, whose are these? Okay, so yeah, she's trying to say like, oh, this is the guy.
How is she more righteous than him for tricking him into sleeping with her?
And Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more right.
Maybe because he promised her
Yes,
the son.
yes, and she never got one.
But it said right here. No, but it
Right?
said when the one grows old enough,
Yes.
she can have him. But
But she didn't
But it
wait.
admitted in the Bible that even though he wasn't old enough, right? Unless I got those words wrong. Look,
Okay, let's go back.
Thomas told your father-in-law's away, blah, blah, blah. So after a long time, Jesus' daughter should die. When Judah recovered from his grief, he went up to Timnah, and men were sure that when I was told that she took her with us. Oh wait, we got to go for to keep producing offspring and put him to death. Judah then said to his daughter, "Let him live in your father's until Shelah grows up." For this he thought he may do it. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter, should have died. When Judah recovered from his grief, he went. For she saw that though Shelah had now grown up, okay, she had not been given. Okay, so he was growing up. So she was like, all right, dude, bullshit me.
Yes.
So now I'm going to entrap. But still, that's still some shady shit. But
Well, right, that's not like
I don't know
that's
if
not the way to go about it. That's
but-
not the right
But
way.
I don't know. I don't know
obviously.
if I'd be like, well, she tricked me.
I'm
She's more
right, I'm not
righteous than
sure.
me. More like she was like, well, I did promise her, I guess.
Now that's
I don't know
what I'm
about
thinking. I wouldn't
righteousness.
say righteousness. I don't even think God would say righteousness. in a
Man,
sense
people,
like that.
I know, man, people who think, oh,
I
I'm
would
not going to read the Bible, it's
say-
boring. This is the best days of our lives. Nothing, got
Like
nothing
I
in
would
these.
say that she was wronged and probably should have.
Hey, she took man. I guess
And-
if you're the type of person who looks at stuff like that as in
Right.
being industrious,
Right.
and solving your own problems, and you'd be like, well,
Well,
she was
right.
told, so she took it.
But
But if you're someone
How
another type
could-
of person, you'd be like, well, was that really the best way to go about it?
like two rights don't make a what is that saying?
Two wrongs don't
Two
make a right,
wrongs don't make a right.
but they make it even.
Yeah, but you know,
All right,
here
so
we
let
go.
me- yeah,
So now we
jeez,
know.
this is awesome.
Okay.
All right. See if you recognize blah, blah, blah. Judah recognized them and said, she is more righteous than I, since I wouldn't give her to my son Shelah, and he did not sleep with her again. Fair enough. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. As she was giving birth, one of them put out his hand. So the midwife took a scarlet thread and tied it on his wrist and said, "This one came out first." But when he drew back his hand, his brother came out, and she said, "So this is how you have broken out." And he was named Perez.
So he stole it.
Then his brother, who had the scarlet thread on his wrist, came out, and he was given the name Zerah. Now, I have a point of order here.
Okay.
So the
That
arm
is
came
chapter
out.
38.
The arm came out first. So obviously they score it as even if the tiniest bit of you comes out first, you were the firstborn. But that's not correct in my eyes.
Well, let me see.
Because his arm came out, she tied the thread to signify he was first because they're babies. So they thought he was going to keep coming out. But then he sucked his arm back in and the other brother came out. To me, you're born for being born means popping out of your mama. So if you didn't pop out of your mama, you weren't born.
So are you saying whoever just actually comes out first?
Yes.
Should
I don't
probably be
care
the
what
firstborn?
limb comes out. I don't care if your arms come out, your legs, your nose, your wiener.
Yeah, I would say
Right?
that's probably.
And that's more of a medical. I think medically, I'd be agreed with there. Because being
trying to
born is preaching
listening
and then
to
coming
the
out.
Spirit. Sometimes he gives me some wisdom.
Why
in
do you think
moments.
medically? Think about you're not. If your arm comes out and comes back in, and let's say for some reason your contractions stop and you wait another 7 hours, kid wasn't born. All right, so that means if Bella would have popped out her arm,
Yeah, who cares about a thread and figuring that
and
stuff
and
out?
then didn't come out for another 3 hours, would they
Right.
say, well, let's say her arm came out at 10 a.m. and she didn't pop out till 12 p.m. or 1 p.m., 4 hours, whatever, how many hours later? Are they going to write in the birth certificate born at 10 a.m.? No.
That's too confusing too.
Well, it's
like-
not confusing at all. No.
Well, it's just weird. It's like, okay, whoever pops out of the womb first
Right.
is the firstborn. Whoever comes out second, even if they're dueling and one sort of comes out and then gets pushed back, it's still not technically out.
Now
It ain't out of the
again,
vagina.
I'm ignorant.
Sorry.
I'm ignorant in this regard. So there might be a doctor / medical professional out there that can enumerate the reasons why that isn't the case. But it seems to me like
Yeah, I feel like
whoever
we've got the
comes out first,
We've got the right idea with this.
I
So funny little thing.
Okay.
But you know how that can be. So now I'm gonna go. Oh, we get back to Joseph. I love the Joseph story. Oh, it's okay. I
This is
think.
gonna be the longest one I've ever done.
Yeah, and I was funny because I was praying about the video before we came in, and I think the Lord was like, just do it.
I was like 45 minutes. We're
Yeah,
still getting longer.
he's like,
and longer.
just have, and this is how, and this
These
is
videos
why,
are long.
yes, but they're,
it's like
they're good.
It's like they just keep getting longer.
And longer. Hey, you know what? When you read the Bible, you can talk. It's like you could spend hours on
right, I gotta pee.
little
Let's
things.
go.
Do you need a pee break?
No, but let's just. I can
Okay.
hold it.
So we're gonna go back to Egypt now to
Joseph and Potiphar's.
Yes, in chapter
Potiphar's
39.
wife?
So we'll have a little fun because this story's fun.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure I will once we get
Joseph and Pharaoh. All right. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt and Potiphar?
Potiphar. Potty mouth.
An officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the
Ishmaelites.
Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous
Wait a minute.
man.
Your Bible has all capital LORD? Mm-hmm. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, mine does.
Oh no, it
No,
does.
yours
It does.
too.
It's just for some reason they make the L bigger.
Yeah, it looks a little weird.
That's
That's all.
weird.
This is
Okay,
how mine
okay,
looks,
so it's-
but it's the same.
It's weird. Okay, so that's
Mr.
okay. It's Yahweh. Okay.
God, Father. There's a lot of names for him, so we don't have to be like
Okay, sorry.
crazy about it. But it's just something that I've been trying
Yes.
to do. So don't feel like you have to. And he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And we all know Joseph had a pretty crazy
Sure.
story, and it's just going to get more fun. And Joseph,
I don't know if that's how I'd categorize it.
yeah. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer of his house, and all that he had put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he. Sorry, I'm just moving because I have.
Yeah, I've had to
too,
been shifting.
so
I was
just
shifting around
shifting
earlier.
quickly,
Yeah.
just so that way I can get comfortable because I want to be comfortable for reading this.
I lasted about 27 minutes before I was like, my bag's screaming. It's like screaming right now.
But you know what?
Yeah.
We'll be good. Okay. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his here's the fun part, guys.
I know.
It always is fun,
Days
right?
of our lives.
That his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me.
The pool boy.
But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and a sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. Oh, jeez. Can you imagine?
You women always causing trouble.
I know, he's trying to get in there, and then she knows when to walk in. Always women trouble, men too.
Yeah.
And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out.
Good.
Awesome.
Sorry that my stinking alarm went off.
Yeah, and it's fine because we'll just piece this little last bit together. It's cool.
Thank you, in shot.
And it came to pass when she saw that
Yes.
he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, see, he hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Shame, shame, shame. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her, until his Lord came home. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in prison. Dun, dun, dun! Story twist. Goes from being pretty favored, right, to getting caught up in something that he had really no intention of.
He
right?
went from...
He was trying. Well, right, he goes from
he
what?
went from getting his pimp coat jacked and sold into slavery.
He was telling the truth.
To built up again.
Maybe a little too arrogant.
Jerked out again. No, we don't know if he was.
But we don't know, right? He
but
could have
all
just
I'm
been
wondering
saying the truth
is
and people got jealous.
once he became in charge again of all of Egypt, I would have been like, yeah, no corn for you.
Yeah, we don't give anything away
well,
here.
obviously
So
But I would wonder what he
gets
did.
cast into a pit.
Yes.
Right.
Well, no. First he
sold-
gets his pimp coat jacked.
Right. Goes into the pit. Gets sold into Egypt into
Slavery. Builds himself up.
Builds himself up into Pharaoh's eyes. Then gets screwed over by Pharaoh's wife, who obviously was just being vengeful.
Oh.
And now he's in jail.
That reminds me.
So it keeps getting better.
That reminds me.
It's a really
you know how
awesome
we were
story,
talking
though.
about slavery, and I'm like, how you God allow this? Blah blah. That was like one of my, he's supposed to be all this. I have a lot more insight into that, and it came by way of that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, and from other things I've been kind of looking
Do
at.
you want to speak on it now?
No, we'll make a video of it. But
Okay.
it makes there was still like legitimate like some shit. But in other ways, it was like almost like journeymen, and some people know what I'm talking about. Like let's say a bread maker, bought a person, and the bread maker, if he found out you could work hard and trust me, would teach you that skill, and you then could. It was almost like you were an apprentice, and you would learn, and if you were smart, you would learn it very well. And over time, you could either save up enough money to buy your freedom, or they would let you give you your freedom.
Right.
Now, but shits could still get really effed up because in the one story I was reading, like let's say the bread maker started gambling.
Gotcha.
And started losing stuff, and his one apprentice who was doing really well, like on the verge of becoming free. Well, little did he know that the bread maker. Basically, you have a deed for your slave, like your house.
Okay.
He gambled the deed away. And so, just as he was about to become free, the banker came, took him, and sent him to basically die on the wall, building the Babylon Wall. And after 4 months, when he was literally about to croak, his grandfather saved him because his grandfather was like, well, what happened to my grandson?
Right.
And his grandfather finally found him and got him and said, I noticed how hard you worked and this and that. So it was like... but shit, like it still was dicey, but yeah. So anyway, ready?
No, I'm good. I have a couple,
finish
but
off.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
there's
just
one
stand
chip.
if that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just so I can give my
Yes.
back a break. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like
Yeah.
who we are. So
Yep.
So Joseph's in prison, but Yahweh was with Joseph
Yes.
and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Awesome. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, Yahweh made it prosper. And I just love, and you'll see throughout this whole story that like God has rerouted everything that was evil in Joseph's life and hard, and he turns it into something beautiful and amazing. He was with Joseph.
Think about the people that saw bless
And then
Joseph though, and
he
then
does
and
that
then
with us,
and then
too.
converted to the Lord though. They're like, holy shit, who's this Lord? This guy prays to. Let me start praying to him.
Right, and Joseph kept his,
Yeah.
I think, his faith through.
Well, obviously, he did.
all
Unlike
of it.
Job. No.
And and it can go back and forth.
Job
It doesn't have to
started
be
talking
perfect.
shit.
Maybe
I'm just joking, Job. You got
Joseph
screwed.
had some moments.
Job got
but,
screwed.
But in general, even if he had his hard moments, the Lord was always with him, and Joseph always, I think, it seems like tried, and it just shows this beautiful story of God always being with us through
38 and 39.
our hard moments and taking all of our bad and rerouting it to good, even sometimes when we're not like
We gotta wrap it up.
fully there. So I just wanted to make that point because that is a very good point.
Absolutely.
And we'll dive, and maybe we'll make sure we have more time to talk about that in
Yeah.
the next reading, because the story keeps going on. So there'll be more time to
Yes.
talk about it. So do you want to close us
Yes.
out?
Dear Lord, thank you so much again for allowing us to make this video, and it's super high, awesome production value. And it's Christmas and attention to detail. And thank you for allowing us to spread your word to our tens of viewers. And thank you for all the stuff you blessed us with. I know I say it all the time, but we really just forget even the homeless people in this country, have it better than royalty did 1,000 years ago. They can still beg for money and get a cheeseburger made in 5 minutes at Burger King. People get what I'm saying.
Right.
Anyway, so please bless us in all our dealings and show us the path you'd like us to go down in life that serves you and your kingdom. And please bless our viewers and do the same for them. In Jesus' name, and smite our enemies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Smite our
Woo-hoo.
enemies.
I hope everybody has an awesome day, guys.
I hope our enemies get smoked.
Smitten and smoten. I got to write down in my